Hey everyone. So in my last video, I got a comment about pointing out the ranks for the advice that I'm given. After thinking about it, it was kind of hard to do it for like a whole video because some things are just very basic, and I think they fit in all ranks, and other things are more rank specific. So I think I just have to, at the time that I'm talking about it, point out whether I think this is for this level or a higher level. And in this game, I'm playing against a Fox 5 Dawn. And I just wanted to show the differences between Fox 5 Dawn and then Fox 10Q and how you think a little bit differently about the groups. But we can go ahead and get started. And I am black. Here we're just both I'm building my area, he's building his area. I play here to kind of reduce his while growing mine. And then when I play moves like these, they're very light. So I don't really need to worry about defending them or if they get attacked. So I think that's a more high level concept. So for lower levels, I would say around 10Q, I would probably recommend just connecting here and extending like this to keep things connected and keeping a wall here. I think it's much simpler to handle if you do something like this. But I just tanuki to the other side and try to build this side. And then it's the same idea. These stones are light, and I'm not really worried about defending them because I don't consider them to be important. Because if white pushes up here, I can either block here and extend to keep growing the top side, or even just extend here and keep growing the top side if I think my area is bigger than his. But it's something that I decide at the moment that he pushes through here. So it might change depending on which side I think is bigger. And here I kind of just play a stone in the center here because again, I'm trying to emphasize this area. And he still has to add quite a few moves here to make this area of a similar size. Because I spent my stones on the outside and he spent his on the sides. And that is something that I do kind of think is important. Is in the opening, stones on the outside I think are a lot more valuable than on the inside. And then as the game progresses, the outside stones become worth less and less, and then you want to go for more territory. So he played this one, and so I kind of wanted to see what he would give me in the corner here. So it probably should just be a ko. When he plays here, I play this one, and then it'll be a ko. In the game, I kind of got the idea that I wanted to try and put some pressure on this group and try and get this block for free. Probably not the best idea. I think just leaving it as a ko is probably better. And then blocking here directly would be better. And if he spins a move here, it's a little bit slow. But that's kind of the other idea between higher level and lower level is the groups are more flexible. While at the lower levels, you're just learning how to defend. And then once you learn how to defend efficiently, then you can start being more flexible. But here I was not flexible. And I just connected and pushed out and then blocked. So I was trying to put some pressure on this group so that he's forced to try and get out and live or kill this group. And this group has quite a bit of liberty, especially if I play the Atari. So he does try to push out, and I just try to keep the outside as solid as possible. So I feel like I'm reducing the center while also growing my center. He connects. I play this one because it's kind of defending both sides. There is some Aji over here. But if he was really set on cutting here, I could consider just sacrificing it and then tanuki again. Or I could just extend here and start a fight because his group is also not alive. But he played this one. And I think this is another area where I think it depends on the level. So at double digit Q, and probably even up to like mid single digit Q, I would say just defending here is fine. Either something here or connection, something to just defend against the cutting points. But as you get to higher levels, this is just a little bit too slow because this area is not that big. So if white does try to take it, you can just Tanuki and play somewhere else that's just as big. So here I don't defend, and instead I block over here, which is a really big place. And again, if he tries to cut here, I can probably just connect and then Tanuki again, either to keep growing the center, or I can maybe block here, probably the block here. And I got to play this one, which is taking this area and also making my corner a little bit stronger. And he took this area, which is much smaller. But instead he pushed here. And then I didn't follow my own rule here. I should probably just block here. And then again, if he pushes like this, then I think my area is bigger than his. Because I can still reduce this. I can still play in the corner, attach or something to live here. And I pretty much have half the board almost. Instead, I tried to get a little bit more. Because again, I was thinking if he cut here, I had strong groups here, and I could handle it. Which I think is still okay, but just extending here would have been better. So he cuts right away, I block. He pushes and cuts right away. So obviously if I try to go this way, he can just capture me first. So I have to go this way. And then he goes here to try to make eyes. So something I could do is I could extend here, which again is trying to get rid of the eyes for this group, and I'm threatening the Atari. And he doesn't really have that good of a move. But I was a little bit worried about these stones, because they are quite weak, and if he captures them, he is getting a large area at the bottom side. So I defended my weaker stones. And then he defends. I push here. This also probably wasn't very good. I probably should just play on the outside or defend the corner like this, or even just jump here to try and make this into points. Because he defended pretty well here. And ended up getting Sente, which is also very important. But I still feel pretty good because I at least get a pretty nice corner. He still probably needs to jump out here because this group is not 100% alive. And he pushes and then blocks here. This one I'm a little bit confused about. I think he was really aiming for this cut or something like that. Or it was a misclick. I'm not really sure. So I peep here and Hane. So again, I'm treating this stone as lightly and trying to just take the outside. And then he could have made this a lot more complicated. He could Atari here, but I still turn here and I still get most of this side. But he made it a little bit easier for me and just kind of extended, and then he cut and went down. So he's aiming at this cut here. I just kind of need to defend it. If I don't, say I play over here, then I have to worry about him like extending here. And if I block, I just don't really have enough liberties. Or if I capture this, he gets to save these and reduce this area, which this would probably still be okay for me because my corner's alive and I got stones over here. Okay, so he pushes here, aiming at the cut, and then he went here. So I could have maybe played here, but then he runs out, and if I capture, again, these stones are very weak, but he also only has one eye. But I just feel like this is too weak, and then this also has most of its liberties filled. So it just feels like it'd be pretty difficult to kill this. There's also some peeps over here. So trying to kill this, I think, would be a mistake. So I block here, and then he plays here. So he's connecting, and again, aiming at this cut. So I just go back and defend it. Okay, and then he jumps here, because again, this area is a little too big, so he needs to try and reduce it. And this move's pretty good. I think if he just tries something like this, I can kind of just surround and put pressure on his group. So he has to try a little bit extra and do something in the corner or live here somehow. But he has a stone here and stone here, so I just want to stop him from getting a base and separate his groups. Because when I separate this or capture this, this is also making this cutting point less effective. Because now I don't have to worry about this group as much, and I only have to worry about this one. But we'll see that more later. So he attaches. And again, I just try to stay connected, and he hanes. So here would be a point where I would say at a lower level, I think just blocking here and capturing the two stones is good enough. But at a higher level, I feel like there's enough Aji here that he can live, or maybe he can go for a Ko, and it can get pretty complicated. So I try to play more severely. And so I try to take his eye shape and make it where I don't really need to block here. So I just connect. So he still has cutting points here. He's not connected here. And this group is much stronger now because I can always play here to try and capture the 2 stones. But instead, he has a cutting point here, so I just push through to separate. And at this point, I didn't have to play here to capture. I was able to push through and capture the 3 stones without playing this one. So I feel like this was a more efficient way to capture these stones. And this group is now kind of separated and doesn't have 2 eyes yet. So I just have to try and peep at his eyes a bit and extend here. So he has a potential eye here, and if he captures this, he has a potential eye. But he needs 2 eyes to live. So I just play the solid extend here, because I can either get rid of this eye or I can save this stone. And there's lots of peeps on this group, and there's still some cutting points. So I need to play more solid to make sure that doesn't come back to haunt me later. So he extends, I block. Similar to the 10Q game, where there's the option for this one or this one. And at 10Q, or to like 5Q, I think just backing off and making sure you're connected is good enough. But as you get to higher levels, I think you have to be able to play this one. Because it does the same thing. It's connecting, but it has much more power in this direction. Because now I'm threatening to surround, and with this one, even though I can surround, still there's a little bit more Aji there. So it's a small difference where I think the higher level you get, the more important it is to play moves like this. So he blocks here to make an eye. So I'm pretty strong everywhere, and if he runs into here, even if he can save the 2 stones, as long as I kill this group, it's fine. So I just turn here, again, trying to make this group as strong as possible. He plays here. Really, I could just connect here, and if he tries to make this an eye, I can just do something like this. Or if he extends, I connect, and there's really not much he can do, because I'm very strong everywhere. But I just went ahead and did this, because I kind of see it as he's giving me more points by playing here. And I just kind of fix some cutting points. I don't even really think I need to do that, but I go ahead and do it. So he goes here, I turn, it keeps this as a false eye. And again, I have the weakness over here to defend, and this also kind of keeps everything connected. Plays this one, I have some weakness here, so if I were to Tanuki somewhere, you could try like this one, this one, this one, and might not work, but there's some Aji there. Or at the very least, he can just play here and capture. And then there's a cutting point here, and it gets a bit messy. So I just simply defend. He tries to connect under, so I play here, which is protecting the cut while also aiming at cutting. And he defends, and I probably could just Tanuki here. I don't think there's really anything in the corner he can do, but there is some Aji, so I just went ahead and defended. And then he cut here. So this one is a little bit more risky at this point, because there is still, he can push here, connect under. So if he can cut off here, there's a chance he can cut off the whole group. So I have to be a little bit careful. But if I push this way, I think this area is pretty big. I think I'm still winning by quite a bit. But I feel like this is just too nice. So I play here, and then he tries to threaten the connection under. And I connect. I'm not even sure I really need to connect. I probably can just play here. He can't really connect in one move, and I should just have more liberties. But I think I'm winning, so just to play safe, I go ahead and defend. And really all I have to do is live with this group, and I'm winning. And I was pretty confident I could live with this. So I jump here. Again, this is one of those situations where I could consider the Hane, but there's this cut here. So if he cuts, I go here, here, here. I probably just have more liberties. But he can kind of use this to get the bottom side, which again would be It wouldn't be enough. I would still be winning. But I feel like at higher levels, you have to go for the more severe move. So I played here to keep the pressure on the whole thing while reducing and trying to get some eye shape. So I Hane and connect. So if I try to surround it, I still have these cutting points. Like if he just cuts here, it feels like I need to extend or something here, and then he can go here, and then now there's Machi with the 2 stones. And again, I'm already winning. My goal is I just need to live here. So I just connect. He still needs to run. He peeps first, and then runs. And then I Hane here. So again, I'm starting to get some ice space on the bottom, and his group is weak. So I'm able to use the weakness of his group to help my group. And he played this one. I wasn't sure why he did this one. I got a little bit confused. I can actually just play here and cut. And if he does this, I connect, and then this is just dead. And then he only captures the few stones. In the game, I kind of got confused and missed it, so I played here. But same thing. He still has a cutting point he has to come back with, and as he's running out, I'm getting stronger with this group. And at this point, I already feel pretty confident that I'm already alive. So I just need to try and create eye shape. And already alive. And I even played this one. I connect here. I don't think it's that big of a difference. I think it's like a 1-point difference. But I just played here to make sure this group was extra safe, and then connected. And at this point, I'm already, I think it was like 60 plus points ahead. And you still have to be careful. Like he plays this one. If I play anything else, it could be a bit risky, but I just need to make sure my stones stay connected and everything's okay. And he kept trying some stuff. And I just tried to get a squeeze here. And then he tried to connect under somehow, but it just doesn't work. And then he resigns. So I think the biggest thing between the higher levels of play is the game is normally, on average, much closer in points. So at the Q level, there's times where like you're behind or ahead 20 plus points. And just defending your groups and stuff is good enough. And learning how to do that. But as you get to higher levels, you have to play a bit more, you have to play faster. Because if you spend a bunch of moves defending, then it's just a little bit too slow and you get slightly behind. For example, like this one. So here I played this big move. The game here is still pretty even. But if I spent a move to defend here, and then he got to play something over here, then I think white has a slight advantage, because this one was just a little bit too slow. But at the Q level, I think this is totally fine, because they're not going to be able to play the most severe move. And you're kind of learning and developing skills in a different way. So at the Q level, I think the main thing is just learning how to defend and make strong groups. And then as you get to Dawn level and higher, you're learning how to do it in a more efficient way. And also just fighting spirit, I guess, might be the best way to describe it, where you can spend a move to defend, but if you're a few points behind, then it's not worth it. So you play the bigger point, and then you leave the weak group and say, kill me. If you kill me, you can win. But the difference is, at the higher level, they're choosing to keep that group weak, and they know it's weak. At the Q level, I think there's several times where you don't realize that it's weak. And that's the point you have to get to. So you have to be able to realize when your groups are strong, when your opponent's groups are weak. And also realizing the relation between the two. Like if you're, like in here, I was trying to force him to live here. Even though this group is dead, he had to focus on making eyes here because I was keeping him weak. But if he was strong, he probably could have pushed through or played something else, and then I never would have got this outside. But hopefully that makes sense. And then I'll try to make more and more videos, and hopefully over time, I'll get better at explaining it and maybe it'll make more sense. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.